Good evening. Let's read some more on Wikipedia before I get too tired. I was reading about the Airbus 320 family aircraft. 320neo, new engine options. And then I like to read the 321neo. Let's read about it. Then I will make I will make a video on my language Danish when I'm finished. I was supposed to do it in English, but I just do in Danish now. I have just a low number of subscribers. Nobody's watching not many watching my video. But it's not why I do it. I like to read about it. I was to read about the Tesla, but let's read the Tesla tomorrow. I should read or do it later. I should read a history of Tesla and Tesla Model I. And so let's just go to bed and reading. But this camcorder charges super fast, so I can read more after this.
Airbus A321neo. The Airbus A321neo is a single-aisle airliner created by Airbus. The A321neo, NEO being an acronym for New Engine Option, is developed from the Airbus A321 and Airbus A320neo family. It is the longest stretched fuselage of Airbus's A320 series, and the newest version of the A321, with the original A321ceo entering service in 1994 with Lufthansa. It typically seats 180 to 220 passengers in a two-class configuration, with up to 244 passengers in a high-density arrangement. The A321neo was announced by Airbus in December 2010 as an improvement and replacement to the A321ceo. Fitted with new engines and sharklets as standard, the A321neo has the longest fuselage of any Airbus narrow-body airliner of commercial use. Fitted with CFM International LEAP 1 or Pratt & Whitney PW1100 GJM engines, Airbus advertises a 20% increase in fuel efficiency per passenger, with 500 nautical miles, 930 kilometers, 580 mi, more range, or 2 tons, 4,400 pound, more of payload. Boeing introduced a new generation of their competing narrow-body family 737 MAX 1 year after the introduction of the A321neo. The A321neo began production in 2016, with final assembly taking place in Hamburg, Germany. It entered service with Virgin America on the 31st of May, 2017, taking its first commercial flight. As of November 2024, a total of 6,794 A321neo aircraft had been ordered by 85 disclosed customers, of which 1,554 aircraft had been delivered. Development, edit. The A321neo's development was announced by Airbus in 2010, 16 years after the introduction of the original A321ceo. The A321neo is the second generation of Airbus's A321 family, with the first generation being the previously mentioned A321ceo. The timeline from development to first flight took 6 years. Relatively short due to its nature as an improvement, as opposed to a clean sheet designed aircraft. The maiden flight of the Airbus A321neo took place in Hamburg, with the aircraft registering in German identification. The prototype was equipped with CFM International LEAP 1AM engines. The aircraft, registered DAVXB, was flown by test pilots Martin Ski-Werman and Bernardo C's Benito Hernandez. The flight lasted 29 minutes, and performed various tests during that time. AerCap was the first customer to order the aircraft on the 27th of April, 2011, with Indigo being the first commercial airline customer to order the aircraft, on the 22nd of June, 2011, ordering 304 A321neo. The first A321neo entered commercial service with Virgin America in May 2017, who merged with Alaska Airlines in 2018. The latter also acquired all of Virgin's aircraft. Like the A321ceo, the final production of the aircraft takes place in Hamburg, Germany. With Airbus being a multinational company, parts of the aircraft came from different countries throughout Europe and United States. One of the most notable is the A321neo S engine, with options for either CFM International's LEAP 1AM, which is a joint venture between GE Aerospace and Safran Aircraft Engines, or Pratt & Whitney Pure Power PW1100GJM. The A321neo has the same overall length as the A321ceo, with an increased fuel efficiency and performance rating. The A321neo has a range of 3,995 nautical miles, 7,399 kilometers, with an MTO, maximum takeoff weight, of 97 tons, 97,000 kilogram /213,848 pound, and its engine has 24,535,000 lbf, 109156 kN, of thrust. It received its type certification with Pratt & Whitney engines on the 15th of December, 2016, and simultaneous EASA and FAA certification for the CFM LEAP-powered variant on the 1st of March, 2017. The first A321neo, leased by Airbus, was delivered in Hamburg to Virgin America, configured with 184 seats and LEAP engines, and entered service on the 31st of May, 2017. Delivery delays, edit. As Pratt & Whitney encountered early reliability issues with the PW1100G, retrofitting fixes affected the deliveries. Cebu Pacific was due to add its first 3 A321neos to its 40 A320ceos by the end of 2017 but agreed to postpone them. It was to receive 7 A321ceos in 2018, starting in March, to upgauge A320 routes from slot-constrained Manila Airport and redeploy some of its international A330s to shorter-haul routes. Air New Zealand has at least 7 A321neos in its 13 A320 family orders, increasing seating capacity by 27% over A320ceos currently used on short-haul international routes, mainly to Australia. The Neos will be delayed until July 2018 for the A320neos and September 2018 for the A321neos with a new, higher density, and some A320ceo leases will be extended for the interim. Hawaiian's first 2 A321neos were to have been delivered in 2017 before its upcoming winter peak season but were postponed to early 2018, a frustrating and irritating delay, with another 9 in 2018, mostly in the first half. They are intended to open up thinner routes to the U.S. mainland not viable with its wide bodies, such as Portland to Maui, or better matched and allowing 2 routes to be expanded to daily service instead of seasonal, bypassing its Honolulu hub for half of the A321neo fleet. Well suited for 2,100, 2,300 mi, 3,900, 4,300 km, 2,400 2,600 mi, routes to the US West Coast. Hawaiian's 189-seater 321neos are more efficient than the competing narrow-body aircraft and even have slightly lower per-seat costs than its 294-seater 330-200s. Design, edit. The A321neo is a narrow-body, single-aisle, aircraft with a retractable tricycle landing gear, powered by two wing pylon-mounted turbofan engines. It is a low-wing cantilever monoplane with a conventional tail unit having a single vertical stabilizer and rudder. Changes from the A321ceo includes a new engine and extended fuselage fuel tanks. Improvements from the A320neo included increased wing loading and structural strengthening, most notably of all a stretched fuselage. Cabin flex, edit. By permanently replacing the second door pair in front of the wing, R2/L2, with a new second pair of over-wing exits, the capacity of the A321neo is increased from 220 seats to 240 seats and fuel efficiency per seat is increased by 6%, exceeding 20% together with the new engines and the sharklets. The modifications should weigh 100 kilograms more. Initial A321neos have the A321ceo exit door configuration with 4 exit door pairs until the Airbus Cabin Flex, ACF, layout can be selected. The third door pair, R3/L3, aft of the wings, is moved aft 4 frames back and could be plugged for 200 seats or less, and one over-wing exit can be plugged for 165 seats or less. In October 2017, the first A321neo ACF was in final assembly in Hamburg. It was rolled out on the 5th of January 2018, and will be ground tested before first flight in the following weeks. It was to be delivered in mid-2018 and the optional layout will become the A321neo default from 2020. It made its first flight on the 31st of January 2018. The ACF exit limit is 250 passengers, but the aircraft is available for up to 240 passengers. It could be offered for 244 or potentially beyond by integrating flight attendant seats in the lavatory's outside wall to allow additional passenger seats. The EASA allows 244 passengers with overperforming Type C exits at both ends, 2 Type 3 over-wing exits, a Type C mid-cabin exit and a separate approval for individual customized cabin layouts. The FAA would limit it to 200 as the mid-cabin exit would be derated to a Type 3 exit, 65 each for Type C doors at the ends plus 70 for all the Type 3 exits. Airbus seeks an exemption to increase it to 105 for 235 passengers for the aircraft. 4 different door arrangement configurations are noted below. 1. This LA company A321neo has both 2 of the 4 over-wing exits and doors are 3/L3 plugged, seating, 76, maximum, 169. 2. This Starlux Airlines A321neo has doors R3/L3 plugged and replaced with windows, seating, 188, maximum, 200. The interior panel is windowless. 3. This British Airways A321neo has doors R3/L3 enabled, but 2 of the 4 over-wing exits plugged, seating, 220, maximum, 224. 4. This JetBlue A321neo has all 10 available exits in cabin flex enabled, seating, 200, maximum, 244. EasyJet and Wizz Air also carry the same door arrangement configuration for their A321neo fleets. Variants, edit. A321neo, edit. The A321neo has the same length as the original A321ceo but includes structural strengthening in the landing gear and wing, increased wing loading and other minor modifications in order to higher maximum takeoff weight. Its first customer was ILFC. The Airbus A321neo prototype, DAVXB, first flew on the 9th of February 2016. It suffered a tail strike 3 days later and was flown to Toulouse for repairs, delaying the certification program for several weeks. The A321neo received its type certification with Pratt & Whitney engines on the 15th of December 2016, and simultaneous EASA and FAA certification for the CFM LEAP-powered variant on the 1st of March 2017. The first A321neo, leased by Airbus, was delivered in Hamburg to Virgin America, configured with 184 seats and LEAP engines, and entered service in May 2017. The Neo empty weight is 1.8 t greater than the CEO, due to its new engines and associated airframe modifications. Engine pylons, wing structure and bleed and oil systems were adapted. At the same maximum weight, it reaches floor 310-30 nm before and 4 minutes earlier than the CEO. At floor 330, 10,000 m, ISA 2 degrees C, 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and 67 T, 148,000 pound, it burns 2,200 kilograms per hour. 4,850 pound/h, at Mach 0.76/515 miles per hour, 829 kilometers per hour, long-range cruise for 2,440 kilogram/h, 5,400 pound/h, at Mach 0.80/542 miles per hour. 872 kilometers per hour, high-speed cruise. To offer similar takeoff performance, pitch response to stick input is a rate command to hit the 3-degree forward/sec rotation rate to capture the right pitch attitude, and there is an electronic tail bumper preventing a tail strike if the stick is less than 3/4 of the way aft. Additional thrust, slower rotation and lift-off speeds require more rudder authority, and its maximum deflection went from 25 degrees to 30 degrees. By January 2018, the A321neo had received 1,920 orders, exceeding orders for the A321ceo. By this time, the A321neo accounted for 32% of all A320neo family orders, whereas the original A321 represented just 22% of A320ceo family orders. By July 2022, the A321neo represented over 53% of all A320neo family orders. A stretch would probably involve fore and aft plugs to keep its center of gravity, but tail strike clearance could constrain field speed and performance, and a larger aircraft could require more powerful engines, while further cabin crew would be needed over 250 seats. In 2018, the A321neo list price was $129.5 million. Competing with the Boeing NMA concept airliner would require stretching the A321neo by 1 or 2 rows. Its takeoff weight could be increased to 100 t, 220,000 pound, by tweaking its wing and strengthening its landing gear, requiring more engine thrust, or it could receive a lighter and larger new wing, more costly to develop but with the same thrust. A321LR, edit. In October 2014, Airbus started marketing a 164-seat, 97T, 214,000 pound, NEO variant with 3 auxiliary fuel tanks called the A321neo LR, long range, with 100 mi, 190 kilometers, 120 mi, more operational range than a Boeing 757-200 configured with 169 seats, 27% lower trip costs and 24% lower per seat costs. It was scheduled for introduction in the second half of 2018, 2 years after the A321neo. Airbus launched the A321LR on the 13th of January, 2015 with Air Lease Corporation as the launch customer, hoping to sell 1,000 examples of the variant. The initial layout of 164 seats, 20 in business, 30 in premium economy and 114 in economy, was replaced by a two-class 206-seat configuration, 16 in business and 190 in economy. Range is 4,000 mi, 7,400 kilometers, 4,600 mi, 500 mi, 930 kilometers, 580 mi, greater than the regular 93.5 TOA A321neo, making it the first version of the A320 family to have true transatlantic capability, thus replacing the Boeing 757 in the middle of the market. The A321LR has the cabin flex layout and was to be first delivered in Q4 2018. Certification was aimed for the second quarter of 2018, with a program including tests with 1, 2, 3, or no additional center tanks and a transatlantic flight on the 13th of February. Test flights included a LEAP-powered, long-range 4,100 mi, 7,600 kilometers, 4,700 mi, flight by Great Circle distance, flown in near 11H and the equivalent of 162 passengers over 4,700 mi, 8,700 kilometers, 5,400 mi, including headwinds, with 5 crew and 11 technicians. Airbus announced its joint FAA/EASA certification on the 2nd of October, 2018, including ETOPS up to 180 minutes, allowing any transatlantic route. As original launch operator Primera Air ceased operations. The first was delivered to Israeli carrier Archaea, while 120 orders have been secured from about 12 operators: Norwegian, TAP Air Portugal, Air Transat, Air Lingus, Air Astana, Air Arabia and Azores Airlines will receive theirs from 2019, and Jetstar and Peach in 2020. On the 13th of November, 2018, Archaea received the first A321LR, featuring 220 seats in a single class and to be deployed to London, Paris, Barcelona for up to 5H sectors, or to Zanzibar and the Seychelles, saying it is the first narrow-body more efficient than the 757-300 it operates. In April 2019, JetBlue announced its intention to use the A321LR on routes to London from Boston and New York JFK. The airline has converted 13 of its orders for the A321neo to the A321LR to serve these routes. The airline started its service from JFK to London Heathrow on the 11th of August, 2021, and to Gatwick on the 29th of September. A321XLR, edit. In January 2018, Airbus stated that it was studying an A321LR variant with a further increased MTO, requiring strengthened landing gear. With a lower density cabin, it was expected to fly almost 5,000 mi, 9,300 kilometers, 5,800 mi. It was to cover more of the market segment likely to be targeted by the Boeing new midsize airplane. The proposed A321XLR, extra long range, with a range extended to 4,500 mi, 8,300 kilometers, 5,200 mi, was to be launched in 2019 to enter service in 2021 or 2022. Integrated in the fuselage to save weight, the center fuel tank was to be enlarged. As of July 2018, about 200-300 mi, 375-60 km, 233-50 mi of the targeted range increase had already been secured. Additional work was needed to achieve the remaining 200 mi, 370 km, 230 mi. In October 2018, the A321XLR was proposed to Air Transat and AirCap. Air Transat could reach southern European destinations such as Split, Croatia from Montreal and Toronto. In November, Airbus indicated that the A321XLR would have a MTO of over 100 t, 220,000 pound, and 700 mi, 1,300 km, 810 mi, more range than the A321LR with the same wing and engines, increased fuel capacity and strengthened landing gear. In January 2019, Air Canada expressed interest in using narrow-body aircraft for transatlantic routes and said it was considering options including the A321XLR and the Boeing 737 MAX. Commercial launch, edit. The A321XLR was officially launched at the Paris Air Show on the 17th of June, 2019, with deliveries at that time expected from 2023. Its design offers 4,700 mi, 8,700 km, 5,400 mi of range and features a new permanent rear center tank, RCT, for more fuel, strengthened landing gear for 101 t, 223,000 pound, MTO, and an optimized wing trailing edge flap to preserve takeoff performance. The RCT will hold 12,900 L, 3,400 US gal, of fuel, the equivalent of 3,121 L, 824 US gal, current additional center tanks, acts, yet has a weight equivalent to a single act and takes up the cargo hold space of two. A forward act can also be fitted if necessary. As the Sharklets lowered takeoff and landing speeds, the switch from a double-slotted to single-slotted inboard flap will reduce complexity, weight and drag. The FMS can set intermediate flap positions. The revised design could be applied to other A321neo variants. Orders from several lessors and airlines were announced at the show, starting with Middle East Airlines, which ordered 4 A321XLRs, making it the launch airline customer. Airlease Corporation ordered 27 A321XLRs alongside 23 other A321neos and 50 A220-300s. IAG quoted a $142 million list price as it committed to 28 aircraft, including 8 for Iberia, 6 for Aer Lingus, plus 14 options. Qantas Group placed an order for 36 XLRs, to be operated on routes between Australia and Asia, and is also set to be one of the launch customers. American Airlines converted 30 A321neo orders to XLRs and ordered an additional 20 XLRs. Indigo Partners also placed an order for 50 XLRs for its airline divisions, and Frontier Airlines ordered 18, bringing the total number of commitments announced at the show to 243. Some are cautious about the potential market. Lufthansa sees the variant as a niche aircraft less comfortable than wide-bodies, and a large lessor is hesitant as it expects a 400-500 aircraft market. Airbus argues that the minimal changes mean it can be used as a regular A321neo, and ALC forecast potential for 50 operators in the next 5 years. The market could prefer shorter turnaround times to more range. On the 29th of October, 2019, Indigo placed a firm order for 300 A320neo family aircraft, including 69 A321XLR. On the 3rd of December, 2019, United Airlines announced an order to purchase 50 new Airbus A321XLR aircraft, with deliveries beginning in 2024, to replace their Boeing 757-200 fleet. Valued at $7.1 billion before discounts, $142 million each, United plans to use these aircraft for additional destinations in Europe from its East Coast hubs in Washington and Newark, New Jersey. In April 2020, $450